It has been roughly a week since we had thousands of savage criminals stampeding through certain business districts, plundering and destroying everything in their path. What they left behind them was comparable to the aftermath of an airstrike, just devastation and chaos. I thought I would do this recording on how I see what happened, why it happened, and what I think we are in for in the near future in South Africa. Firstly, I think we need to understand that the individuals on the ground who rampaged through the shopping centres did not do so of their own accord. There is, and still are, much bigger forces behind what happened. Unfortunately, the masses on the ground are who we the citizens have to deal with while the chaos is happening. I thought I would take a look at a few aspects of what happened that the official channels seem to be overlooking. Firstly, I would like to take a look at the individuals on the ground committing these acts. If someone, anyone, came to me today and told me that if I joined a crowd tomorrow and ran amok, I could take whatever I liked from the shops, I would tell that person that they had to be crazy. I'm not a criminal. I have more sense than that. The operative word here is having more common sense, and I would like to add morality than that. Carrying on like an uncivilized savage just doesn't sit within me. We need to ask ourselves what type of a person allows themselves to be coerced into doing something like this. Never mind the sick individuals doing the coercion. In my opinion, and please, this is only my opinion, you might agree with me, you might not, but I am going to tell you what I think. There was a very famous quote by Malcolm X, a black man. He said, and I quote, "If you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book." This quote pretty much sums up the crux of the entire problem this country and every other African country suffers from. We have a huge lack of intelligence. Note, I did not say that we have a lack of education. I said we have a lack of intelligence. Even a stupid person can be taught to regurgitate an education, to pass a test, but to be able to think for yourself and to use that education to solve problems is a whole nother story. I've covered this in a previous recording, but it is worth repeating here. It is a fact that the average IQ of sub-Saharan Africa is around 70. Now, by modern Western standards, an IQ of 70 for an adult is the cutoff line for being considered mentally handicapped or retarded. Now, to understand how an average is determined, the average is a meeting point or a balance point where the spread of the measured value will balance. What this means, in effect, is that at least half of the entire sub-Saharan population have an IQ of less than 70. This is why I keep saying that we are being ruled over by a bunch of morons. It is also no secret that people of less intellect are more prone to violence, crime, and criminal behavior. It stands to reason. If you do not have the capacity to create anything, if you do not have the ability to build anything to improve your own lot in life, and you know it, there is literally only one way for me or you, whoever that might be, to have the same things that others with the ability have, and that is to take it from them. Remember the big bullies at school? This explains why socialism and communism is so popular. It promises those that practice it things that they would otherwise not be able to manifest for themselves. Unfortunately, if you want to give someone something that they themselves are not capable or not willing to create for themselves, that thing has to be built or created by someone else. That someone else, in our case, is us, the white minority. Unfortunately, now the Indian community has been dragged into it as well. You will never see a people targeting another people of lesser average intelligence with socialism or communism. It's because the people of lesser intelligence have nothing that can be taken away from them that the higher intelligence people would want. But getting back to these people on the ground who are doing the rioting and the looting, they have to be so stupid to believe that they can go and literally wipe out entire shopping centers, taking whatever they like, destroying the buildings afterwards by setting them alight, and not face any repercussions afterwards. There's one word that is used in every situation like this. When these stupid people are caught in the act, in the Xhosa language, it is andias or anas. I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation, but it literally means, I don't know. The only answer they can ever give is, I don't know. Is this not the favorite answer of naughty children when asked why they did something malicious? It is the ultimate excuse that is expected to be accepted. So where does this leave South Africa? South Africa is a part of the African continent. And if we persist in allowing Africans to run the country, there is absolutely no reason to believe that we will not end up just like every other African country ever. I mean, Over the last 27 years, they have not given us one single reason to doubt that South Africa will in fact end up just another failed African country, run by a bunch of criminals and gangsters. We find ourselves in the situation now where the wheels have totally fallen off, and we are just careering down the road out of control with sparks flying everywhere. There is no possible way that these idiots can turn this wreck around. They simply do not have the ability, and the longer we let the craziness carry on, the less chance there is of us, the minorities, getting out of this in one piece. In my opinion, we should have already declared ourselves an independent people in our own independent country, and should have already set about putting together measures and means of defending our borders from the impending implosion that is about to take place in South Africa. There are those of us, the stubborn lot, who still maintain that they can't move. They have homes, etc., and I sympathize with these people, but trust me, when this country goes up in smoke, you will either lose all those properties anyway, or they will be worth so little that you would be wasting your time risking your life to hang on to them. We have allowed ourselves to be herded into a corner, and now we have no other choice but to either take the loss and make a new start, or to risk our lives holding on to worldly possessions. I'm not saying that you should just pack your bags and abandon your homes. I am suggesting that people who see the danger ahead weigh up the possibility of losing everything while trying to hang on to it, or getting what they can now and using that to secure a future in relative safety for yourself and your family. That is all it boils down to. One thing is certain though, those that hang on to their houses and comfy lifestyles to the bitter end stand an excellent chance of losing everything in the process. If I owned property now, I would be looking at getting rid of it while it still had some value. I have no further desire to be a part of this chaos and mayhem any longer, because there is no remedy for what is happening here. No morally acceptable remedy anyway. 6 months ago, I uploaded a recording on how we as a nation have been desensitized to the absolute savagery and brutality that we are exposed to living in the most dangerous cities in the world. Recently, we have been exposed to yet another example of another desensitizing step with the devastating riots we saw a week ago. Next time this happens, we will not be so surprised, and there will be more of us that accept that level of savagery as normal. It will take yet another jump in the level of violence and savagery to get us to sit up and take notice. This is not a good thing, people, because in my opinion we are now not very far from that final step. If you want to know what that final step is, go and Google images of the genocide that happened in Rwanda, the Congo, Angola, etc. That is our lot, people, unless we take some concrete measures to prevent this from happening right now. I, for one, have absolutely no ties to this country. I do not own any fixed property at all. Most of my belongings are in a storage container ready to be picked up and taken to Dalbarton. In fact, I would have moved there in January already if it was not for the fact that I literally had my entire life savings stolen from me in mid-December last year by a thieving criminal who has simply vanished. I was left basically destitute, but I will not let this stop me. I simply had to scale down my plans for what I begin with at Dalbarton. Up until December last year, I was going to put up a fairly big light steel frame structure that would double as a big workshop and have a small cottage in the rear. I had already received quotes for this, and plans were going ahead to start in early January. This would have allowed me to start earning a living from work done in the workshop, but now I have resigned myself to the fact that as soon as I can afford to buy a decent-sized caravan, I would take it to my plot at Dalbarton and start a new life from there. Anything is better than living in Gauteng, in my opinion. Until that happens, I have my vehicle permanently packed and ready to take to the road at short notice should I need to. I might sound like I am overreacting, but as has been seen already, I seem to have the ability to see where we are heading and am merely taking the measures necessary to secure my safety going forward. In my mind, I am not doing nearly enough at this point, but I am doing what I can afford to do right now. And I urge you all to start taking drastic measures to secure your and your family's safety in the unpredictable future. Or is it so unpredictable? Please like and share this on as many social media platforms as possible. It's the only way that my message gets out there. If you would like to make a contribution to my channel, in the description field I have provided ways for both local as well as international listeners to make a contribution. If you'd like to make a crypto contribution, I've also provided in the description field a Bitcoin as well as an Ethereum wallet address. If you'd like to contribute any other cryptos, simply shoot me an email to the address also provided, and I will provide you with the relevant wallet addresses. If you are comfortable using Zapper, simply pause the video whenever you see the Zapper QR code and scan it. Any and all contributions will be greatly appreciated. To all those amazing people who do contribute to my channel, I say a huge thank you. I appreciate your contributions tremendously. Until next time, be safe out there.